welcome back, guys. Where we left off last game, if I recall correctly, is Tom ended up getting himself a new connection to a potential ally in a abominable snowman type of creature. And you began, well, you continued your journey in what was an already pretty heavy snowstorm. You're pushing toward Amber Temple, and I would like at this point for you guys to give me the order for who's in the lead and attempting to find the path.
Do we have anyone that would make more sense?
Well, you're made of metal.
That's
so that's
true. And I can probably see in the dark because I'm a robot. But
there you go.
All right, so you guys are going to attempt to use the magical GPS system built into him, along with his terrain assessment programs. I need you, however, to roll a investigation check then, medic.
Let's see here. Oops. Oh, I almost stopped on a 3 or 19. That would have been amazing.
Rigged.
All right, now I need everyone to do a Constitution saving throw.
Well, I have advantage on those.
Yep, you'll be fine.
I'm not. Probably freezing to death or something.
Good
I'm
lord.
not sure why mine's not rolling.
Even with advantage, I got a crappy roll.
My dice hit someone else's dice. I blame them.
There we go.
All right, so Diedrich and Tom, both of you are now suffering a single instance of exhaustion
From
the elements.
Okay.
You guys, you're basically in negative 10-degree weather according to the manual. That's as you've gotten higher into the mountains.
Yeah.
Oh,
on
that's
top
fine.
of that-
Fine with that.
Right, you're. That's what I'm saying. You're okay. It was only a DC of 10 on the first set, so basically you guys climbed for hours, and though your helpful robot didn't seem to have any issues in the cold, you were pretty sure, Diedrich, that he took several turns that didn't make sense to you, but at the same time you couldn't point to where the right direction would be. I would like an Arcana check from Val, please.
I'm just not sure if this ability here makes any difference in for my character's exhaustion.
Yeah, this is about cold, though. It's not about your exhaustion
Okay.
from movement. Oh, man. Val, you realize after hours of this that there is something actively avoiding your ability to pick the right place. It's a bit like something in the corner of your eye, but then when you go to look, it's not there. And you've noticed that several times as you're attempting to sense where to go. It's like something's always off on the side. When you go to look at it, it's not there anymore. And you started to make a pattern where you noted which places you felt like you didn't want to see. And by doing that, you were able to instruct your faithful robot leadership with more instructions. So I now need another investigation check with advantage, though.
For me?
Yep.
Oh man, double 16s. What are the odds?
Yep, that's good. You find the path after mapping out the areas that Val told you he felt like we're not supposed to be able to see, the spots that your mind slides right over. And after you gave them a higher weighted value in your algorithm for determining the correct path, you were able to see off in the distance through the snowfall the shape of a temple of stone with large pieces of mountain and crags and stones actually hanging over the sides of it. It's like it was built literally into the side of a mountain. At the top and along the sides on small posts, you see a number of runic symbols. Very weird. They don't look right when you look at them. Like you swear they're moving, but then when you really stare, they're not moving. It's confusing. and strange. But there is a path here. So as you approach, you realize that you must be at what is the right place. Even though it's snowing, you see that this road fades away under this covering of snow, but it takes you far enough in to see this facade of some kind of temple carved in this sheer mountainside. The front of this structure is 50 feet high and has 6 alcoves containing 20-foot tall statues. Each statue is carved from a single block of amber and depicts a faceless hooded figure, its hands pressed together in a gesture of prayer. Between the 2 innermost statues is a 20-foot tall archway with a staircase leading down. Just in front of these statues, however, an arch of stone, there flickers a tall wall of flames that glow in a natural red hue, more translucent than natural flame and thinner too. Small ripples move across the flames in a dazzling display as snow hits it and promptly disappears.
I would like to investigate the fire stuff with my, I guess, Arcana.
Okay. That wall, by the way, is roughly up here, so I don't know what you can see on your markings yet, but it's going to be up here. All right. Your Arcana wasn't particularly potent, perhaps because of your distance from it or whatnot. You don't sense anything necessarily malicious.
So I'd like to pick up get a sizable chunk of snow, like a snowball that would not just like vaporize normally,
Right, okay.
and throw it through and see if it just
Okay.
melts part of the way and goes on through, or if it just disappears.
Yeah, you toss it, and it seems to just fall on through, maybe slightly warmer than it was. It's you notice, however, the snow drifts on the other side of the firewall are lower. It's not that there isn't snow, but it's distinctly less snow.
So it seems like it might be safe, but it's just keeping it warmer over there.
What I could suggest is, due to the person that has my pinky wrapped around their neck, maybe try and toss that through the wall.
Well, it's already pretty burned up, if I recall. I'm not sure we could tell anything by
Pretty
that.
skeletal.
Okay.
I burned it so you couldn't be cloned. Before I realized that you weren't going to grow back.
More or less the fact of it is if it gets vaporized when it goes through the wall.
So I will pick up. I'll pick up a stick or something off the ground. I think I've got some stuff.
Got
Anyway, let's
a
just
stick.
yeah, like a torch. Or I've got a bunch of torches apparently. So I'll hang
Snow-
the necklace of Pinky and
Snow is a
push
little
it
bit
through the
different than,
flames.
flesh.
Yeah, yeah. I'll stick it. I'll hang the necklace around the stick and like push it through, and then bring it back and see.
Yeah.
Investigate.
All right. You do so. It seems to just part around the torch. Doesn't seem to have much of an effect at all, if any.
Okay.
I'll walk through.
All right, Armandus, I'll also point out you were walking back and forth a bit. When you were
Yeah.
on the west side, give me a with advantage. Give me a perception check, please. Yeah, you heard voices arguing on the left side. They sounded, I don't know if that's considered racist, but they sounded tribal.
I will relay that to the rest.
All right, as you step through, the flames part around you. You feel like the wind itself has changed, and the flames themselves are mildly warm, but the moment you step through on the other side, it's back to being cold, but the wind has been drastically slowed down. You get the sense that this is not meant to block a humanoid out.
Do the same.
Okay, same thing for you.
Guess and pass it on through.
Now, the voices you heard were over here, and you recall seeing, as you went over there, debris broken in and a crevice or a crack through the wall. A couple feet in size, and that's where the voices were strongest.
Okay, kind of I'd say as quietly as I can get up there, check it out.
Okay. Go ahead and give those of you going up there, go ahead and give me a stealth check, please, as you're trying to approach quietly. Whoa.
2 20s. Don't worry, I took care of it for you guys. I'm.
I don't even know how to describe what the two of you are doing.
We're all just tripping over each other. They're like
Yeah.
stealthily moving, and we just like trip and start rolling like a snowball.
His joints start creaking as they get
Oh,
unstuck.
funny.
Oh my gosh. All right, so the rest of you are having no problem. I'm going to say, since Armandus was the one who noticed them up front, I'm going to go and place you over here around the corner where you can see, and you have some observation already. And we'll just play it from there at first anyway. So as to what you see through that opening, it doesn't look like it, but it's supposed to represent a nearly 2-foot wide hole in this wall crack that leads right into the temple. Like I said, it doesn't seem to look like that, but that is the nearest I can get the map to look. So anyway, what you can see: torches in sconces, light is bare stone room. Go ahead and give me a perception check with advantage, since you're the only stealthy one, and we're going to see how many of these details you can pull from what you can see.
I was more stealthy than he was.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right. I didn't really mean at the exclusion of you so much as
Yeah,
he was
sure.
the person who did the search at first. It's not trying to be mean. But
Yeah,
between the
whatever.
two of you, there
I'm
you
super
go.
offended now.
Between the two of you, you
Here
see
to go.
torches and sconces lighting this bare stone room. There's 6 bedrolls you can make out, made of stitched animal furs covering the floor. Cold air enters through this fissure that you're looking through on the southwestern wall. There's a strong sense of unease radiating from the room. A tension as thick as porridge has settled between what looks to be 4 tribal warriors, with a seemingly tame dire wolf watching them with eyes too keen. You've been noticed by that wolf, but it hasn't made a sound to warn the group of probable adventurers held within a somewhat secured resting location. You can barely see just around the edge that there's a northern door leading that room, and it has been secured with the remains of a bloodied spear. You're not sure. You see red on it. It's similar, however, in design to those that the warriors are keeping close to themselves.
I'll whisper to Armandus real fast after he tells us about everything that he's seeing, since apparently I don't see anything. Not that I'm bitter. It could be the raiding party that the Yeti was telling us about.
Mind's will nod and make his way back around the corner.
Well, as you're about to do so, this loud sound of metal hitting rock, and then someone go thunk, and then you hear someone falling on top of that, and more metal hitting rock. You see right behind you, in this caricature of 2 people trying to be stealthy, they have just fallen and collapsed on stone, right behind you, and the sound carries through the wall, and you hear the men stop. Who is there? Did you bring them? I didn't bring them. Did you? And they're quickly looking toward this opening. You've been discovered.
Hello, friends. What, is there anything that we can help you with?
It is another trick. It can't be trick. They would be dumb tricksters. Look. That one, I smell his herbs and something from here. No spirits do this.
No tricks, only treats.
I don't trust anyone who offers treat.
That is good. Alright.
So, are you guys going to go in?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
I'm going to go ahead and move you through then. I don't know if it lets you. And we'll just have to roll with it being roomy enough for it.
Fat.
Technically it's supposed to be. Yeah, so you get... I'm gonna leave it like this, actually. You, robot, get stuck because of your sheer frame, and so does Tom. I need to put Tom back out here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he's wider than I am. I'm just tall.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, but you got a frame that can't condense, so
No, you're right.
so those two are able to get through.
The two that tripped cannot get through.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
2
How
feet
you're
if you're
able
going
to-
sideways is pretty wide, though.
It is, but do you realize how tall he is? And the robot, he's what, 7 foot something?
I didn't hear how
Yeah.
tall the tunnel was.
No, it's only no. It's not the height that's the problem. I'm just saying he's 7 foot tall. He's not a beam. He's not a 2x4.
Yeah, obviously.
Wide, Warforged frame. And Tom, well, let's be honest, he's not very tall, but he is.
No, I wasn't making a case for Tom.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. Stand up for me.
No problem.
That's what all the butter is for. He can slick up
Oh,
and get through.
Oh gosh.
I don't want to follow him after that.
I'm gonna let him try if he wants.
Ugh. I'll push him with my foot.
There's
After
no-
I try to kick, I don't want to touch him.
What do I gotta roll?
There's definitely no way a 400-pound, 3-foot person can fit through 2 feet of anything. The
But he doesn't know
Warforged.
that.
The Warforged is more likely than
Right.
him.
But Tom is a go-getter, and he's got butter.
Ah,
so
Tom's
if
an
he's,
idiot.
If Tom wants to butter himself, I'm not gonna say no. I'll let him butter himself.
I'm pretty sure I heard a wolf in there. I don't want to go in there.
Okay.
They
All
scare me ever since the incident.
All right. So the one of the first ones there starts telling you that they're the tribe of Kavan. Kavan was a great warrior of the past, and those who have defeat the challenge of staying a night in this temple earn the right to inherit the spear of Kavan if they can find it. And it has been gone for generations now, but Madame Ava told their chieftain when he was just a young man that they would encounter the spear again this generation. But something has gone very badly this trip. He tells you that they've lost 2 of their warriors already, and they're divided over what has occurred in the night. Something changed, and none of them trust each other, and their recollection of the night is different. Someone here is no longer what they used to be, and the pact has been broken. The individuals are named, in case that's of interest to you. Actually, let me switch so I can see both screens at the same time. Yeah, here we go. The one directly to your left, Diedrich, is Javrek. Then the one above you is Tronk. The one to the right is Shaknal. And the bottom right is Charfar Markar. It's got a lot of asterisks in it.
Apparently.
And the wolf is just sitting there quietly.
Can I move over to... Is there room enough for me to move over towards Val?
Here's a weird question, but does that wolf have any kind of signs that are telling us that it's maybe not a true wolf?
Well, so I want to talk to Val and see if he can communicate telepathically with the wolf and see if it can tell us anything about what either it remembers overnight or if it can tell us anything about its traveling companions.
Okay, I will. I will do so.
This isn't normally something you have a dice roll, but based on what it is doing.
Well, so the way it works is like if it's sentient, then it can communicate to me. If it's not, then it can't. So it's not like I can't talk to animals unless they're sentient.
All right, so
That makes sense.
you said, yeah, it does. I'm only pausing because of all the things I've written, I didn't write one from the perspective of the dog. So I'm thinking what makes sense in this, and so you begin opening communication. As you look in its eyes, you recognize it's got a keen awareness, and it's far deeper a well than you'd expect from a common animal. But the image it sends back to your mind isn't so much one of direct words or thoughts conveyed. It's a picture of oceans, deep, dark, a blue that's gotten so far into navy it might as well be black. Swimming beneath of it are these enormous monstrosities like sharks, but red. And they rise and froth and push toward the surface. And as it starts to break surface, that image disappears, but you're left with a chill that goes down the back of your spine.
Well, I would like to relay that to everybody and then try to explain as best I can to these guys. Also, I wanted to ask them, I guess, like, how do they know that one of their own has broken the pact? And could it be the wolf that has? Because it saw us and didn't say anything, didn't notify them. So it doesn't... I was wondering if that's normal behavior for their wolf, or are they actually expecting it to, like, have their backs? Because it didn't seem like it did just a second ago.
So Shaknal, that's the one that I've marked right there. He points to the door right there, and lodged into it is a spear that has bloodied handprints on it. And he says this is how they know something is wrong. There were more of them yesterday, and right before they rested, individuals left, and 2 of them didn't return, but one had made it to the door right here when it was killed, and they don't know what killed it, or who. And so they decided to take turns staying awake and watching, but they don't believe it was the dog because it has not made any moves to attack anyone. In fact, Shaknal says about the wolf, he is spirit of lost warrior, here to protect his tribe. And then he points at Javrek, that's the one over here, and he says, he was asleep, 3rd hour to 5th hour. He is clearly nervous, not like warriors should be. And so you can see his reason for concern about him. Then he points to Trunk, the guy right here, and he says, but he was missing when he woke up at 3rd hour, but arrived when I woke up at 3rd hour, but he arrived immediately after. He seemed exhausted, suspicious, yes. And then he points to the guy in the bottom right corner, Char, and he says, he keeps staring at this wolf distrustingly, this one who's spirit of lost warrior. He doesn't trust him. He has been awake half the watch that I, Shaknal, have been awake. He appears otherwise unshaken. And he seems to be pretty resolute in his opinion of the individuals around him. Not enough so to side with anyone, but he keeps a spear near him. Armundus, what are you carrying as your primary weapon at the moment? Like, what do you have? Do you have a weapon drawn, or are they all still away?
I had my shield and the blood spear.
Okay. It takes a moment because of the confusion and frustration, but Javrek suddenly pauses and points to you and says, where did you get this?
And this out of character here, because this is the one that just came from a battlefield, correct?
It was embedded in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Couldn't remember exactly. I'll tell them where I got it.
There's a series of whispers, people mostly muttering to themselves rather than to each other because they don't trust each other. But you are very clearly the one they were prophesied to about, because you in fact are holding the spear. They immediately think of you as a great warrior and hope to win your favor, whereas they would then would like to receive their spear back. And whoever has it becomes the new chieftain.
Very well.
It takes some time after the surprise and shock of that spear being on someone that they continue their talk. But Javrek, again, that's the one over here, unhappy that Shaknal talked so much, he decides to give his opinion on things. He points to the wolf and he says, he is not spirit of lost warrior. He is Mistwalker, sent to deceive the unwary. But Mistwalkers cannot be killed, and to try to do so is to invite misfortune. The wolf sneaked off for a while, between 3rd and 4th hours, but he returned within an hour. And he points at Shaknal almost, aggressively, because how he had pointed at him. He said, he was sound asleep snoring for the 1st and 2nd hours. I only remember when people snore because it's consistent as chirping bug, but far more annoying. Then he points to Trunk. He took watch at 4th to 6th hour, and is friendly with Wolf. daring to toss it some of his rations from only an arm's length. He has been acting very jumpy, not like warrior. So this is strange that he would be so calm with Wolf. Then he points to Char. He left to relieve himself 3rd hour, but was back not long after and was very focused on challenge before us. Not long after that diatribe is open, Trunk speaks up, and he points to the wolf and he says, "No! Both of them are wrong. He is Dead Watcher, a sign of impending doom sent by the gods that watch over the grave." He points to Shaknal. He slept longer than the rest and ate more than his share of rations after leaving to relieve himself at 4th hour. He took a long while to find place to please the Pant Serpent, or so he says.
Pant Serpent.
He points to Javrek. "I remember he let evil gas from his bowels at the 2nd hour and woke me up. It was horrible and I needed air."
Wait, it sounds like Corey.
That's Corey.
He points to Char. "He has been very quiet, like the dead, most of night. He was unbothered by Javrek's foul gases." You realize that amongst that, only one person remained unspeaking. Char. He notices you guys are waiting for his input since the others had all spoken. And he takes in a breath, and he says, as he looks at the wolf, "He watches with eyes too keen for Wolf. I may have to slay this beast whose eyes watch from another realm." Then he points with his thumb a little jerk toward Shaknal, and he says, "He is cowardly, but loyal. I don't track when he comes and goes, but he never misses chance to rest." He points to the one you think is Corey, Javrek. He said, "His bowels are like cannons from the abyss. It is surprised he has not killed his own family with his trunk spirits."
Yep, that's
And
all too familiar for you.
And then he points to Trunk. "Drugs. He left 4th hour. Was gone for a long time." "Who do you trust?" Now, I'm aware that you guys are going to have trouble recalling all that, so I've got this in a place that I could copy it. If there's any spelling mistakes, just deal with it emotionally.
Goodness sakes.
Yeah. You may, or if your other approaches you just want to ask things, that's fine too. But people like Magneto need the ability to check things out. And I will point out that 2 of you are exhausted, and it has gotten to evening.
Tam and I hear this stuff that's going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how long is this hallway?
And you guys realize that they're not too far in. You probably could make it around from the other side to get in if you wanted. Just to be able to ask them where to go.
Oh, the other entrance. The actual entrance.
The other entrance, yep. I'm just going to put you over here, Tom. I will point out that there's a lot going on here, but you guys are trying to be stealthy going here, so as to not go down your stairs. I don't want to mess anything up. But this is, yeah, there you go. So you're by the door, Tom. That foyer up ahead of you has, well, I'll describe that later. All right, we don't want to get too split up. So you guys definitely realize that things are not, something's definitely not right. There is an unnatural anger and frustration and fear and whatnot amongst people, but people that used to be friends are now at each other's throat, and 2 of them are already dead. When you walked by that door, Tom and Medic, there was a large smear of blood. It practically was a path leading to it, but you don't see the body anywhere.
No body, no crime.
Can I ask them for each to just cut their palm of their hand, and I can medically investigate to see if any of them don't look like they're supposed to be?
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh man. Come on, big number. 16.
Pretty good. You lean into the fact that these are a tribal group and that the blood is often very important for determining bravery and familial magics and things like that. So you get them to agree, and they, not trusting someone else to cut themselves, each of them takes the tip of their spear and cuts their hand slightly and lets you take a sample.
Can I do a medical check and discern anything from the blood?
Yep, give me 4 medical checks. Wow. Okay, good. You were quite confident, with the exception of one individual, that they seem to be strictly and just human. There's a relationship, at least 2 of them are cousins, and one of them is deficient in iron.
Who's the one I'm not confident in?
The deficient in iron, which is Char.
I relay this information to my party.
Perhaps a good rest where everybody can sleep who needs it might give us clearer heads when we awake.
It would be a tight squeeze in here, but you guys feel like this is one of the more defensible locations.
I don't trust these. I'm not sleeping in a chamber with people that I don't know.
Especially one that sounds like a Corey.
Well,
Oh,
that and
yeah,
someone
yeah.
else who's probably killing people, so...
No one's suspicious of the low iron deficiency guy?
Yes, I absolutely am.
We could just kill him. Also relay that information. Well, I guess... They all seem human. I guess the 3 of them seem human and 1 is low in iron. I don't know what that means. Wait, no. Are vampires low in iron because their blood's weird? Can vampires shapeshift?
Mm-hmm.
Yes to the second one for sure.
Uh-huh. David, do you have any way of, like, sensing if they're vampires?
I mean, I'm tracking undead. So...
Armundus, if you... Well, give me a wisdom check, Armundus. You realize that feeling, that sense that's in your arm, your left arm, is warm in here. As you've gotten closer to the temple, it started moving more, and you think that you could probably reach out and ask it if you wanted to information. Whether you trust it or not, that's up to you, but you think that you could communicate with it.
Okay, I can send it a image of threats or not for these guys.
Okay. Let's see. It's being strangely quiet. It's very awake, but it seems to be focused on something that you don't understand. Almost like it's nervous.
Okay. I will not relay this to the party.
Okay. If I know Magneto, he's writing stuff down in columns.
Yep.
No, I'm not using columns.
Spreadsheet,
I'm
Excel, we're
organizing.
in the modern...
Not columns this time.
I do like a good logic puzzle with columns, but no, I'm just organizing the clues.
Into long cylinders side by side, but they're not columns.
No, I'm just in Notepad. I'm very primitive right now.
I'm just trying to find out if vampires would have low iron deficiency.
But you can't... Uh,
Diedrich, you sense that they're undead near, but not that near.
That was my question. I'm fine. I guess I need to start reading the riddle. I thought I could cheat this with a cheesy, quick thinking outside the box.
Well, I will tell you this, that I didn't make it like the normal logic puzzles in which there is a definitive answer. There is a pattern you can
All right, I
pull
got
from
an
it.
answer. Okay, no, I'm kidding.
I wouldn't have been surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised. There's an intentional there's a flaw in their conversations. And it's not an accident. It's distinctly there on purpose. Anyway, if you want to ask other things or try other stuff, that's fine too, though. That's why I didn't make it so this is a simple plug it in and you get your for sure bad guy scenario.
So one issue, and I mean, let's just assume I'm communicating with everybody telepathically or whatever. Is that Javrek said that Trank took the watch from 4th to 6th hour, but Charfar or whatever said Trank left during the 4th hour. So so Char or Javrek would be lying about that for some reason.
Or the person who said he left was lying too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like either one of them is lying. Because one of them said he was there, and one of them said he wasn't. So one of them could be lying, but it doesn't really implicate Trank at all. It's just one of them is lying about it for some reason. Let's see.
So you're doing this telepathically though. So there's uncomfortable silence as everyone's looking back at each other, the dog or each other. All of you talk in your minds. What does he? What are they doing?
Put on a puppet show with my dummy to entertain them.
Yeah, so I think Javrek is a liar because he also said that Charfar whatever left to pee during the 3rd hour, and but Javrek Shaknal said that he was asleep from the 3rd hour to the 5th hour, so he was asleep, but he said that Charfar left. So I think Javrek is lying.
Well, then confront him.
Yeah, I would like to. Or do you
I
guys
also
want
put
to
on
just-
an amazing puppet show. The warriors are enticed.
Yeah,
Or
it's a very good puppet show. They're quite anxious, but you bring a technology they're not familiar with, and it's entrancing.
Spooks them.
So, okay. Summarize what your thing is. Again,
Okay, well, so I guess first off, I would ask them like, has Javrek always been so gassy?
Yeah, all three agree immediately that yes, he's always been gassy. It's just part of his heritage. It's not his fault. Everyone's understanding about it, and no one will tease him about it.
Well,
Okay,
so I guess I'd like
the
to
less things
ask
we're
him.
projecting.
So I guess I'd like to ask Trank first when he when was he when did he take watch?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking Javrek. Okay, didn't let me read.
I know.
through
I'm
this.
asking Trank. I'm asking Trank
Oh.
when Trank took watch.
Okay. He pauses and he says that he wasn't supposed to take one until later in the morning, but the gas from Javrek woke him up, and so he left for a bit to drain the snake, and then came back and assisted in watching for an hour.
So from 3 to 4, or from 2? Like
Roughly,
he left at 2.
That's maybe. Yeah, he says not long after 2. He took a little time.
Okay.
And since you're talking to Trunk, right? He'll also say
Yeah.
that he'll also tell you that he did not leave at the 4th hour. He was resting, and that Char must remember incorrectly.
Hmm.
And how upset does Char get over that?
Char shrugs and says, "Believe what you want to believe." It has been a tense night, he says. Tempers have fired, stoked by the flames of fear.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, there are definitely multiple conflicts. May not be like purposeful lying. So I'd ask Jarek how. So he's sure about. Sorry, I lost my place. That, or no, I guess I'd ask him again. When did when did Trank take watch? And how sure are you?
Well, he says that he assumes he took a shift while he was actually asleep, but because there was some overlap of several individuals in the whole farts thing, he says that he's pretty sure that it was around the 4th hour that he was actually watching, because he happened to notice while he was in and out of sleep, he happened to notice him playing with the wolf, basically. Not playing,
Yeah.
feeding.
What was he feeding the wolf?
Some of his rations, some dried meat.
Nothing fresh, huh?
And he says they don't have anything fresh. They've been traveling for days. It took them nearly 2 weeks to get to the temple itself, burning incense along the way to try to clear the wards that fog the mind. This is all part of the test that their tribe puts through every few years for the strongest warriors. So you have a couple options. If you decide to rest, instead of solving this directly here, if you decide to rest, Val would be able to make a roll on talking with that I think that's the name, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be able to talk with Raksha, and I would give a new roll for Armundus as well, to communicate with his entity. And anything else you guys want to do, we get a refresh chance at a roll, if you so desire. But I will freely admit to you that it probably would be pretty intimidating for you guys to do, and I think Diedrich would be downright absolutely against it.
Yep.
So a second ago, Javrek said that he saw Trank feeding the wolf when?
Somewhere between the 4th and 6th hours.
Oh, between the 4th and the 6th. When does Trank say that he slept?
Let's see. He was asleep from midnight. Well, he doesn't say that, but basically what would be the 0th hour, right? Until the 2nd hour. So he had 2 hours there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see if he's got another.
Well, he said he took watch for even though he wasn't supposed to be on watch yet.
Yes. Right.
Did he take
around
his
that.
normal watch too then? I mean,
His
he
normal
was supposed
would have been around 5. Let me read here to make sure I get that right. This is very confusing for me too. This is why this took so long.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with
Fifth
Mag
hour.
over his first assumptions, but I'm
It could all be innocent. Like everything that I'm seeing
Right.
could be innocent. Yeah.
Yep, there's gaps on purpose there.
right.
There's one for sure liar amongst the group, but again, I didn't try to make it so it would be absolutely for sure. I will say this: you guys have narrowed it down to the right focus group. You've got the right half, I should say, at least, right?
Yeah.
But you already knew that.
Oh wait, so who was the person that had the low blood? Is that one of the ones we've determined something
Yes.
was up with?
Char.
Well, there's a little bit. Oh man.
And Char definitely seems unnatural. Like he didn't sleep very much at all. There's not very much information about him.
He seems to be the calmest amongst them.
And it seems like, it seems like his description of the wolf being from another realm or whatever seems the most realistic to me. Based on the visions and stuff.
Does the wolf react to him weirdly in any way?
Let's give you a perception check. Let's see. You're going to be watching the wolf for a little while. Go ahead and give me a perception check for that. Who can know the mind of a wolf? He seems to look at him a fair amount, but then again, he keeps looking at Diedrich a lot too. In fact, best you can tell, he's split between Diedrich and Char in your observation period anyway.
Greatest threats.
I want to cut Diedrich's hand and investigate his blood.
Diedrich will not allow that.
Sounds a
That
little
seems suspicious.
sus.
That seems super suspicious. Let me see if I can persuade him. Yes.
Your hand blood is good. I think
That
you
wasn't
should blood for
examining
me.
it. Can I trip up against him and stab? I'm super suspicious of him. No, it's fine. I really want to figure this out. I have like a notepad with a bunch of nonsense written in it. It seems like nonsense now. But I also don't want to sit quiet too long because I know it's not fun for other people to sit too quiet for too long. Does anyone have any other ideas?
Well, Trank, he says that he was resting at the 4th hour.
Yeah, right.
But Char said that he left at the 4th hour. And then at some point, Javrek said that at some point, like around the 5th hour or whatever, he was supposed to be on watch, 4th hour. So he shouldn't have been sleeping or
right.
leaving, apparently. But anyway, if said that he fed the wolf a ration, well, could it be that he was feeding the wolf a ration when he came back from?
Well, what about the person that died? Do they have? Was there any? Do we have any information about them?
Yeah, there are 2 people. Yeah.
Yeah, there are 2 others from the tribe. I didn't write down their names because they aren't going to be here to have
I
a conversation.
But who did they have? My thought would be, when did they have watch, or did they have watch? When did they apparently disappear?
Yeah, when did they discover the bloody spear?
They disappeared in the evening prior to the watch.
Oh, before the watch. So they were mistrusting before this all happened.
Things were getting weird.
After. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I got you.
So,
I'm on the same page.
I would like to try to ask the wolf telepathically. If Trank fed it after he came back, like if he basically came in the door and fed it.
Okay. So you're going to effectively try to communicate the picture of that individual tossing food to him, and get the sense of whether he says that's true or not.
I believe it's true that he fed him. I'm just wondering, like timeline wise, like was he standing around on watch, or was he like slinking in the door and giving him some food? Like, I guess if that makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. I tell you what. Give me a persuasion check, because not because it's not agreeing with you or wanting to, but because you're trying to convey a somewhat foreign concept, potentially to a beast, right?
Ah, boo.
Well, you're able to communicate the idea of food being given to it, and you do see the image of Trunk tossing food. He seemed to be sitting down on his bedroll as he did it, leaning forward, tossing a small piece of dried beef, which the creature devoured. And the picture you get is of blood and salt pouring through a river, and there's some sense of pleasing to that.
Yeah, I don't know, cause it's like, I mean, there really doesn't seem like anything that's glaring to me that would just be. I mean, obviously, you know, Tronk says he was resting at the 4th hour, and Char says that he left at the 4th hour, and that's a glaring thing.
So where did he go?
Well, so Char wouldn't know where he went. He just knows that he left, and Tronk is saying that he didn't leave at all. So,
And of the ones that did leave, one mentioned that it was because he needed to get air away from the farts, and another left to go to the restroom. At least one.
yeah,
One
and it
person
seems like
says
a
that
bunch
they
of
were on a
people were
long
out
time.
on the 4th. Like Shaknal was out at the 4th hour. He went out to pee, according to Tronk, who actually says he was asleep at the 4th hour. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, things make sense when you realize who the liar is.
Yeah.
Technically, there's tentative suggestion of corroboration between a couple of them, because of the lies that go a couple directions. Again, it's not 100% because there's windows, and it might be the subtlety of time that we're talking about, how much time something took.
How long did it take you to pee?
Who are you asking?
Whoever we're thinking went out to pee.
Okay, let's see which ones. Well, we'll just have to answer them all, I guess, because there is Shock now believes that Trunk went out to pee.
And how long did that take?
Trunk says he doesn't recall it being more than a moment or two. He just went to the crack in the wall and slid through it and peed in the corner over there, where the guys fell, basically.
Diedrich chuckles at Tom. I think that's pretty funny, actually.
I don't know what you're talking about. There was no urine where I fell. It was where the robot fell.
Oh man. As far as the rest, okay. So someone else. So yeah, Tronk says that he needed air, so you can assume he probably went pee around the 2nd hour. And if you're asking him, he would say it was only a few minutes for him.
Can anyone verify how long he was out?
Char says he believes that he was actually out there for at least half an hour.
It doesn't, even for a man like me, it doesn't take me 30 minutes to go take a piss. Someone's acting sus here.
And then Javrex says Trunk vented. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Well, so when Shocknall went out to so I guess I'll ask Shocknall, like, did he get up and pee at some point?
He said yes when he woke up at the 5th hour. Or sorry, this is Shocknall. Sorry. Yes, he said he went pee when he got up around the second hour. Toward the end, near the third hour, I guess is how you'd word that.
And where was Trunk whenever he got up?
When he got up, Trunk was in, but he ended up having drank too much from his wineskin and ended up going again about 2 hours later. Not Trunk, but
just looking at these guys. Do they have any like little things out of place that, you know, like inspect them to make sure like maybe they don't have a couple drops of blood on, you know, up by their collars and that kind of stuff?
Okay. So you're gonna do a thorough investigation, right? I'm gonna give you one investigation from each person. So starting with whomever you want. Who are you gonna choose?
I'll just go left to right, kind of clockwise.
So Javrek. So this one first. That's Javrek. All right, go ahead and give me an investigation check. All right, and now for Trunk.
While he's doing that, can I do an
Shock now.
insight check on, I think it was Shardar Shmar, who said that Trunk was gone 30 minutes. Can I do an insight check on that?
Sure. Two things occur. Go ahead and do your insight check first, I guess. You get a strong sense of a confident, practiced liar.
Didrik lights up Sunsword.
Well, Armundus, by the way, you noticed while investigating, you were apparently didn't see anything unusual about the first three, so you're not 100% sure, but you noticed that the dagger hanging on his waist, on Charkar's on his side, has a chiseled bit that is, the tip has been chipped ever so slightly, and you notice this yellowish hue on it, and you're immediately reminded of the type of resin material you found in a cave on the other side of Barovia.
Oh no.
I'll point that out.
So I think we should communicate mostly telepathically at this point to figure out what we need to do, rather than accusing him of anything. Try not to be obvious about the fact that we suspect him.
Okay, so what do we do?
I don't know. I was
That was the
polymorph him into something, possibly.
which one was it again? Can you point on him?
The dude right beside me.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, I'd just just considering taking my sword and slashing him across the throat.
Do it.
Do you have your sword out right now?
Yeah, I said as soon as you did that insight thing, I lit up Sunsword.
All right, so there is anxiety and nervousness, and they're looking, and there's a sense of awe from at least a few of them, actually, about what is there. And I'm going to let you get an insight check as well. This is a perception check in this case. Perception check, Diedrich. I know you just did an insight. That's how you determined his truthfulness. You're not sure you can interpret it, but you see the corner of his mouth curl up ever so slightly in a quick, unsuppressed grin when you pulled out your blade.
Shank him.
There's this heavy pause in the air.
There, smacked him.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, okay. Give me a 1d20. From you, Diedrich. All right, your attack hits. Go ahead and do the damage. There was a flicker in the sword as you struck, gashing across his abdomen, and where your wound normally sizzles across and burns an opening, you see small black tentacles like wiggling worms wreathing across to each other until they grab and start pulling back together. He pushes right to your, basically between you and Val, and pushes you aside with an unnatural strength. And he pulls out a dagger from his, well, you can't even tell where. It's just like it wasn't there in one moment and it's there the next. And he shoves this obsidian dagger, at least in color and appearance, into Shaknal. It just crunches into his heart with a sickening sound as the blade cuts through cartilage and bone with unnatural ease. The life leaves the body almost instantly as the blood sprays from the wound before being lapped up by growing bands of darkness, crawling up Char's muscled arms. His voice deepens as he laughs, and the wound you gave him stitches back together, takes in a surge of power that darkens the room in spite of the light on the wall sconces. He turns toward the group as shadows pour from his shoulders like an unreal cloak, matching the dark hue in his eyes that he's since taken on since the retreat of their natural color. Armor like the midnight of the coldest winter night oozes from his furs and forms hand-sized scales over his body as you watch. You find yourself readying your weapon for another strike, Diedrich, but before you can react, the wolf that had been sitting there calmly jumps in a single pounce, fast as a blink, and latches itself onto the neck of Chafar Makar, and drags him to the ground, shaking and crunching, with a sickening wet gurgle in his voice. Your choice. You have a moment here as you see the struggle ensuing. You can decide if you want to take an action or let it play out.
I want to let it play out and watch the reaction of the other two while it's happening.
Okay. What about you, Diedrich? Are you going to do anything since you've got your sword out?
Yeah, I'm gonna swing again.
Okay. Go for it.
You said something that makes me hesitate there, but did I see the sword flicker?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're pretty used to it by now.
Alright, then I'm gonna shoot him with my crossbow and try and go for the head.
Okay. Nice. Your impact hits solidly, but it's hardly noticed in comparison to the fight that's going on between this wolf and creature, for lack of a better word. Armandus, you feel your arms surge within you, and a voice screeches into your mind quickly. It says, let me destroy him. Let me eat him. Come on, I swear I will help you. I don't even want to be joined with the entity. I am my own. Let me take his power. We can do so much.
And mentally, I will tell him, not at this time. Wait until Strahd.
Whoa.
You feel this frustration inside of him. He's already lost the battle of wills with you before, and it backs down, almost in a way to indicate that it desires friendship with you, not just ownership. It's like a sliver of something bigger, and the sliver itself has its own identity that's been forming as time has gone on, forged somewhat by your will and the things that you guys have encountered and experienced. So anyway, you back down. That sense and the desire to rise up and strike, you calm it and you push it back down. And the wolf shakes his head, keeps trying to twist and perhaps rip the head off. And when when Char lifts his blackened arms up to strike at the wolf brings up its paw, and it swells in size like you would see for a werewolf, except Its larger, darker, red-tipped fur grabs the wrists on each side and claws into the ground, anchoring them down as its teeth grip tighter and stronger, its whole body swelling. The eyes, Diedrich notices, of the wolf are glowing red, and little curls and wisps of reddish smoke are coming out of the corners as it growls. And you swear for just a moment you hear this thing in your mind, all of you do, in fact, that says, "This is my realm." And it crunches down, snapping the neck and ripping the head clean off. This wolf, then now twice the size it ever was before, with arms that are paws that are more like arms now, rises up and grins with an unusual, uncanny, wide Cheshire cat type smile at you, Diedrich, and then it winks and immediately turns tail, going toward the crack in the wall and just changing shape, sliding through it.
Do
like
I
there's
get
water.
an action at all?
Sure,
while
if you
he's
want to
doing
take
that?
another one. I mean, you guys, you were the only one who done stuff so far, so if someone else wants to do something first, though, they get to choose.
Pretty big. I think I could block that crack in the wall. I saw it moving towards it.
Okay.
Or I could. I'm like right there on my screen.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So you see it turn. Now, you wouldn't have seen it smile at David and wink, Diedrich, but you can choose to block it off if you want to, or try to.
Yeah, I'll definitely be yelling, "Stop it."
I'm definitely going to be stopping it.
All right, let's go ahead and do some rolls then. It is going to impact you physically. I don't think you're going to have a problem with this. Give me a strength save with advantage.
Strength save? Okay.
Yep.
With advantage.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it slams into you with a weight of a several hundred-pound wolf, but it doesn't make you budge at all. Your back's up against the wall, and you don't cave in the least. But it, like some sort of goo or gel, splashes around you. Its body shape changing and morphing as it's working its way around you. But your body is filled with cords of both metal and some sort of flesh amalgam, and it's pushing in between even those and down beneath your knee joints and your crotch area. It's basically moving around you as fast as it can. I need you to now give me a wisdom save.
I would like to cast a spell as well before as he goes.
Nice save. Well, you feel for just a moment, Medic, like you're in a field, sniffing little flowers. Your little nose is moving, and you hop and you hop and you see a strawberry and you start to chew it, and then off in the distance in your little vision you see this dinosaur-like thing charging towards you, chomp 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 chomp, and tearing up the ground, blocking out the sun as it approaches you, and you see it try to consume you, and then an orb of magic or energy or willpower or something combined surges around you, and it's unable to snatch you from your prairie, and then it charges on, moving past you. Having protected your soul, I'm now ready for whatever you want to try, Val.
I'm sure this is gonna fail, but I'm gonna cast Maximilian's Earthen Grasp with Metamagic heightened spell, which gives him disadvantage on the save for
Nice.
it.
Okay.
So I don't know how to actually.
You just target the. I'll let you
That.
target the beast. It's.
Oh, that's weird. It's doing.
Supposedly an area. You could just read the spell and we know what the numbers are and we can try them.
Yeah, it's. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, because it's not letting me cast. I guess because it's an area. Can do the little info thing so you can see it. So basically, he needs a strength save against my spell DC.
Okay.
Which I think is 14. It's not very high. it's just a disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage. Okay. Oh, the weakened one. Okay. So it fails.
Yeah. Okay. So now he takes 2d6 bludgeoning damage and is restrained for the spell's duration, which is I guess it doesn't say here, but it's
1 minute.
It's a minute. It's a minute. Yeah, it's a minute concentration, and he has to use an action to make a strength check against it.
Okay. Well, the only here's how this would play out. I mean, just the way I'm describing this character as opposed to what you just did. So an earthen hand is reaching up and grabbing this blob of now transforming wolf materials, is trying to go through what's his name, and starts to pull him off the medic and towards the ground and trying to hold him in place. But what happens, as you might imagine, is that shape keeps wrapping around and coiling until it's becoming as thin as a serpent, coiling toward the corridor beneath the legs of medic, and it starts streaming through there quickly as water running downhill would. And the earth itself doesn't actually do much damage to it. I'll say it took a damage, but it's got more than enough life to handle that.
Okay.
So it's making its escape in a small sliver.
And I still want one more shot if I can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could I take a shot at it as it's going through as well?
Yeah, sure.
Zip by some people. That's from attacks of opportunities.
I assume if we actually succeed at catching him, he's just gonna murder us anyway. So.
Well, yes, I don't expect to actually have any long-term effect on catching him. There is something I'm trying to do, though.
All right, Armundus, you struck right into this pool of darkness and, in fact, drew life from it. You feel a surge in the your left arm, in the very bones, as what's in there and what's being pulled up from your spear are somewhat incompatible, and they are now vying for control over who consumes who. One moment, please. The health you normally would have gained does not go to you. It ends up going into your arm, and if you have to do a will save against it in the next couple days, you will be at disadvantage.
Now you have to do a pop. Now your arm looks like it's a Popeye arm.
There's
just something.
Except that. Oh, FedEx is coming here in 20 minutes. Yeah. Interesting. I will say this for the color of the story. This thing in your arm, though, it overcomes that and scarfs up the energy. It says that its oath to you is it will not overrule you, that it seeks a partnership, not a dominion. And so it sinks back down, even though you realize that it gained strength. It has just promised you that it will not use that strength to overrule you. So, yeah, you felt it. You didn't get the health, but what you did give us a promise. Go ahead, Diedrich.
All right.
I was gonna say I'd only get the health if it was
Really
reduced
need
to
this
zero.
to hit.
Did I actually get it this time?
No, you didn't. You're right.
Okay.
But it does have a drawing effect anyway.
Gotcha.
Oh man. Nice.
Yeah, so I don't care about the damage. Damage means nothing to me because I know it's escaping, so I'm not even gonna roll damage. But what I am
Still
doing,
roll damage. That's critical.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
Alright, fine. What I am doing is casting Brand of Castigation on it.
And is that the tracking one, or?
Yep.
Okay.
That's not good. Evil laugh.
No, I just knew where he was going to go with that, and I think he's outplayed me. It is what it is. and that would work. Doesn't matter what shape the creature's in, it's a type of psychic link.
Yep.
So it would work. I can't argue that. Okay. You succeed. It continues to pour through this crack quickly, and you feel it immediately just haul and rear, getting out of the temple area.
And I'm just gonna yell as it goes, "I'll see you again soon."
Strahd, is that what we're saying?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, okay, you guys have been in here a while. There's now a ripped apart corpse of Charkar, and it clearly the being that it was he was being bothered by or held in place by, or however you want to look at it, infected by, is seeping even now into the ground in the stones. Even though there shouldn't be room for the stone to give away, it's begun seeping down. Some small tendrils in the air are lifting up, like snakes being charmed, as though they're trying to find a host. Val, give me a dexterity save since you're so close. You and Diedrich both.
Boy. Dexterity save.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Dead.
Actually, it touches both of you. Val, however, you when you feel that thing latch onto you and try to go in, Raksha absolutely takes you out of the realm. For a moment, you are just stuck there in an astral plane with him, and he says, "Absolutely no," and not. And he slams a staff down and strikes the tendril as it's trying to reach into your very person and withers it backwards. And he curses at it in some ancient language that you recognize only because of it. And you realize in that moment you have encountered one of the spirits that you have sworn to go hunt. So in fact, if anyone's prepared for it, it'd be you.
It's handy.
Diedrich. Yeah, so you got touched. I need a wisdom saving throw from you then.
Oh, good.
You feel it start to seep into your skin, messing with the way you perceive the world, things you notice and look at. Your vision in some ways sharpens, and you start seeing ghostly images behind walls. And in fact, just for a moment, you see a hole through this wall right here, but you notice that there's holes in several other places. This temple itself seems to be riddled with them, except for in the basement, where you see impossibly bright prisons. As they look like to you. That's the sense you get. Armundus, your being in your arm sends you this feeling of panic and alarm. It wants to talk to you, but demands your allowance first.
Okay.
Meaning you're permitting it?
Yeah, go.
Yeah. It begs you to let it help your friend, because what's attacking him, if it gets to grow to full strength, he will not be able to stop with his little splinter of power. That what you have is such a small splinter compared to it. It could help him protect Diedrich, but if you let it go too far, it'll be stronger than he is.
I'm gonna let him out this time.
Okay. Diedrich, you're suffering from an onslaught of overwhelming mental damage. You failed the wisdom save, not realizing quite what was happening,
Yep.
and are collapsing to your knees. When you look over in the corner, and Armundus, with this keen awareness, looks at you, and that vision that you're seeing, that's allowing you to see through the walls and see the prisons and shifted your entire perspective. It looks at him and it sees dark wings spread out from behind Armundus, larger than life, enormous, in fact, dripping with small oils that fall to the ground like flames when they hit, sizzling. and out of his left arm, this giant claw reaches forward and is screeching towards you, and you feel the thing inside you, having not found a secured place, not being held in place yet, screeches, and the claw grabs it.
I'll scream as
this-
well. Something like
That's
that.
Diedrich screaming.
Cue up a goat scream.
I need to have more sound effects added in. The claws wrap around the tendrils that are going into your mind and start pulling and ripping against that until it pulls away from you. And with that, your vision disappears, and what you see then with your regular eyes is just Armandus's hand forward towards you, and the smallest opaque tendril reaching out from his left hand, but pulling back at that point in which you're actually able to see it. It's sliding back into his arm, grabbing the remnants of what had tried to grab you. And what was on the stone when you look back down is no more. Between what just happened there and the fact that Raksha is able to handle those quite well, you've either destroyed or pushed it away, and it's no longer present. And you realize in that moment you owe your life to Armandus, but you're not sure at what cost.
What did you do?
It's complicated.
What did you do?
The two warriors are now bowing before you. You are the prophesied one. You are worthy. Be our leader. And they pat their chest with their fists.
I'm gonna yell
Asking you
again.
to-
What did you do?
They're offended at your lack of respect toward the prophesied
Sun Sword's out again.
I'll wave them down. Stop. I'll explain. From the other gem, as you recall, there's a being that is, well, as you all know, you were right to keep watch on me. But that was about to happen to you, so I allowed this being to kill it before it could take hold like it did me.
What does it want?
If I told you anything that it would want, then what it would change. So there is no point in trying this, because it could be very dangerous.
I can be very dangerous. You know, I've spent my life hunting, killing monsters. And yes, you have saved me. But how do I know you are no better than the ones that I hunt? Maybe not you, but what is inside you? Which makes it you.
So that means that Onion Boy is several women. A bunch of women all over Barovia.
Oh gosh.
I was curious if a bromance is about to break out.
Now, Diedrich is absolutely furious right now.
You can think what you want, but when have I raised arms to you?
How do I know it won't happen soon?
The warriors to the left say he could have killed you or just let you die. He is the prophesied one. The new
Perhaps.
leader of Kavan.
Perhaps. But what happens when this thing takes over?
I will not let that happen.
Will I know if it tries? Well, I'm not necessarily expecting him to. It's just
Medic's
Yep.
thinking about how he would lie to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh man.
I would assume at that point it would be no longer me.
Oh, boy.
well.
You'll tell when the love feels different.
Thank you for now, but if the time comes, know that I will kill you. I will take no joy in it. But for your sake, I will.
I respect that.
As your tensions calm down and the room is more relaxed, Diedrich, you realize that you were seen into a gap over here, and you don't see an obvious opening, but there's definitely one there. You're sure of it. The sight that you held for a little while.
Do I remember-ish what might have been on the other side of that?
You saw what looked like a honeycomb. A giant honeycomb.
I don't know if it's worth me using a spell to go through the wall.
Well, you could try to find any mechanism. You want to roll for that? Someone wants to do that, or you could have Tom punch it.
Tom's an
I like
idiot.
punching
I'll roll for investigation.
Yo, I like punching things just as much as the next guy, if not.
All right,
All right.
Tom. Fine.
Tom, you get to go punch a door. Go ahead and use your attack roll, whatever one that is. Which are you dexterity based? I think you're dex, right?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Yeah, do dexterity check, please, with advantage because you know right where to go. It's a good thing you had advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it
So you guys watch him sort of waddle over to the wall, just as Collins can be. and
Diedrich
see him.
sighs.
He breathes in, and the necklace of garlic and onions around his neck is right there, and you see him just enjoying it. And then he takes both fists and at once slams them both forward, and the wall absolutely shatters perfectly, so that what used to be hinges is right where he hits, and the door caves in right where you needed it to. And you see inside there small cylindrical holes in the stone. They seem to store a number of scrolls. From a quick glance, it looks like they are of a very old style of parchment. A whole wall of them. In case you want to see it.
Yep. Without touching them, can I see any more detail?
All right, you look back and forth across them, and you see most appear to be of the exact same type. There is a small phrase written in common above each column of them, and they seem to be of a categorized series of scrolls. Perhaps one use, perhaps educational. You can't tell unless you were to try to read them. But some say for outer defense, internal defense, amber mitigation, etc. And on the right, there is a section called historical. They appear to be two different types of documents. One, the parchment style, looks like paper, very, very aged. And then there are a couple that look to be made of leather of some sort of animal skin, rolled up.
Start checking out the leather.
All right. You gently slide the leather scrolls out, and they're the layer of dust tells you you're the first person to look at these in a very, very long time. The leather, as you open it, cracks, and so text on the inside in a lot of places falls away. Give me an investigation check, Diedrich, as you attempt to read what was on there.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. A 20.
Let's go.
All right. I had. This is funny. See, I spent all this time. I write a perfect or above, and then this part. Then underneath it, for all the rows below, I have these pieces you get to read. So, whatever. Okay, here you go. It seems to be some sort of ledger of a historical agreement that may or may not have come to pass. And you see, it says, his attempts to create the perfect servitor have met with varied degrees of success, as his demonstration of monstrosities have shown us. He has built them for purposes of war, but promised he has other designations planned. A guardian series, he swears, would be exactly what we needed while guarding the entities. When we asked him about their capability of holding souls, however, he balked, muttering how he has an idea of how to fill that part of a forged one, but he left it for a series he was designing for interacting with humanoids as a replacement for doctors. And it goes on to describe how the prices he wanted were too high, and you didn't trust anything that had the capability of holding a soul and did not already have a soul filling.
This seems somewhat familiar.
Yeah, some things definitely click into place. I'd imagine Medic would probably be told about this at some point.
Yeah, I
And
don't need to keep any secrets from him.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Sure.
And you
That's what I
read
get
this,
for
and
rolling
you
a
just
20.
immediately have this. Your algorithm spins back around and calculates, tabulates, and spits out. It's almost like you see a screen in front of yourself. For a minute, your vision blacks out, Medic, and you see a screen, and it's black with green text that types out "Daddy?" ? Flashing, and then you're back at seeing the realm again.
It seems
Everything
like we
normal.
have met your potential maker on paper.
Aw.
Yep. Well, we are at that time where Spanky has to get ready for work, so we're gonna leave it here with you guys. I guess resting probably, but we can determine that, I guess, next time.
Yep, for sure.
Either way, thanks for playing, guys. I had fun.
Cool.
See you
Yeah.
next time.
Thank you, guys.
Adios.
Good game. Have a
Alright,
good one.
y'all have a good
Laters.
one.
Have a good day at work.
Hey.
I'm not looking forward to it.